Hello, YouTube. How are we doing today? My name is Jake, and I'm once again joined by my friend Jordan. Jordan, how you doing?
Excellent. Just pulling it
Excellent.
up so I can, keep up with the chat.
Keep up with the chat. In
Yeah.
fairness, we didn't post anything telling him that we were doing it today and not Wednesdays like we typically do it at 6:30. 6:30, the time that we do it every single week, right, Jordan?
Every week, 6:30. Yep.
Jeez, Louise. It's playoff time though. Jordan, how many playoff teams did you make this year?
I'm in two.
You only made it in two?
Yeah. I was only in 3 leagues this year.
Oh, okay.
I kept it short. I kept
Okay.
it. Yep.
All right. Well, okay, that makes sense. I was like,
I kept it
geez, man,
trim,
that's not good.
Nope. I know.
You're gonna-
67% is my. Yep. What about you, Jake?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I think I was in 9 leagues. I made it in 6. So 66.
See, so same thing. Yeah. Last year I overdid it in my leagues. I was in too many, and I couldn't keep them straight. And so this year I really narrowed it down to just a couple. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
So. And then next year I'm going to be ready to go back to 10 leagues again. It's every other year, because now I feel like, I didn't do enough, like I wasn't always constantly stressing about fantasy. So I got to go back to 10,
Oh, no.
10 leagues.
I constantly stress about fantasy, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. So yeah, guys, it is in most leagues. It is the first weeks of fantasy season, which means it is win or go home. This is it. This is where the money's made. So we'll be here to help you, win your league.
Get the chips.
Jordan, do you
Yeah.
want to start things on the fantasy or on the podcast side?
Sure do. Let's do it.
All right. Welcome back to Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast, where we're here to help you take the next step in your fantasy journey. My name is Jake, and I'm once again joined by my friend Jordan. Jordan, how you doing?
Excellent. Ready to go. We were just talking before we started. It's playoffs time.
It's
The
playoffs.
playoffs are here, and everyone made it. I know it. I feel good about it.
Every single person
who listens to the podcast
made the playoffs,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, it is fantasy time, or is playoff time. It's win or go home. This is where the money's made. We're currently live on YouTube at youtube.com/The Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. And then we also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/The Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. Jordan, we're not going to play a game this morning, but I had a question for you.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
It's not a 1 or 0 like we've played before, but it's kind of
Okay.
something similar. So
All right,
I was
I'm ready for
reading today. I was reading a interesting article about a flight out of India, a local flight out of India this year or this week, that a man got on and discovered that there were 80 falcons that had seats on the plane. So there was
Birds.
birds,
Like falcon
correct.
birds.
Someone
Had
had bought individual seats for each falcon. My question for you: would
1 or
you
0. Do I get off the plane?
Would you
I'd
get off the plane?
I'd get off the plane.
What happens if I tell you they weren't in cages?
Okay, that's way worse. In my head, they're in cages. Are you telling me they're not in
So
cages?
apparently, a very trained falcon, you just sit down and you put a blindfold over them, and they just fall asleep. The more
Nope.
you knew.
Nope, 0% chance I stay on that flight.
You-
If they were in cages, I would consider it based on the desperation of where I was going, how far it was, how much money I paid for the ticket. I'm like, okay, they're in cages. Uncaged falcons, I am off that plane so fast. I'm like, this is a joke. I would take one picture and then I get off the plane.
You take the picture though.
Yeah, well, no one would believe me. I'd be like, oh, Mom, sorry I didn't come home for the holidays.
There was
Check out why. Yeah,
There was
you
some-
won't never believe me.
And then my other question to that then would be, what's worse, falcons on a plane or snakes on a plane?
Snakes. Way worse. They don't
think
make
so?
movies about falcons on a plane. Yeah.
I'm just saying though, but falcons they got talons. Like,
Yeah, but they're not poisonous.
what happens if you could blindfold every snake?
No, don't they? The little tongue
They
thing.
just-
They'll sense
they
me.
got the teeth. They're like.
Yeah, exactly.
All
yeah,
right.
I don't know.
So no Falcons on the plane. Got it.
Yeah. No. That's,
Uh,
what a horrible story.
It's
What a
just-
horrible way to
right?
start the
I heard
podcast.
that and I was like, oh, I got to bring that up.
If that's true, that's horrible. All right.
Don, good to see you in the chat. Go ahead and ask your questions if you got them. And then, Jordan, why don't you start out with the news?
Cool. All right. I have the most important news, and I'm going to the Packer game versus the Bucks on Sunday at Lambeau. So, Don, I'll see your boys there, and they're going to lose to the Packers, who are making a late playoff push. All right.
Geez.
Moving on to the news.
He says after we just lost the Giants.
Yep. Hey, that's okay. Jake, but this isn't really news, but I'm curious your thoughts. So the Chiefs lose another game on a controversial call, potentially controversial call at the end of a game. That is all the rage in sports media this week. What are your thoughts?
That and the Draymond Green thing.
Oh, and the Draymond Green, of course, yeah. But we don't talk about NBA here. We're a wrestling and football show exclusively.
You want to know what wrestling and that was the first time. So, in my opinion, the Chiefs are interesting as a dynasty, right? Because I would consider them starting to get to that point, right? They won 2 Super Bowls, right? It's interesting that you typically don't like the dynasties. Most people don't like the Patriots when they're winning, right?
Yeah.
At least for me, I didn't dislike the Chiefs. I don't like that they win a lot, but like, you know, you like Patrick Mahomes, you like the stories, you like Chad Henne coming in for that play and beating the Browns. Like, you like the Chiefs, right?
Love Travis Kelce.
Oh, love Travis Kelce.
Yeah, love the podcast, love Taylor Swift. I love it all. All right.
We're Swifties on the podcast, by
Yeah.
the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's worth mentioning. That was the first time where I actually felt like, God, these guys suck. Like, it was
I'm annoyed.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Listen, if they would have reacted that way the previous week against the Packers, that big PI they didn't call, yeah, be mad. Sure, would fans have been like, oh, just get over it, right?
Yeah.
But at least you would have been like, but it was clearly a penalty. They were literally complaining, saying, yeah, we know he was offsides, but just let us go. Yeah. That's not how games work, let alone the NFL. You can't play chess and take a pawn and go wherever you want and just go, just let us play the game and see how it goes. And Patrick Mahomes made a fool of himself. And then, and you know, I get it. You're playing the game, so maybe you're in the emotion of it, right? I think my biggest takeaway was Andy Reid coming out of the game, and then at the podium after being able to calm down and telling them that the National Football League should be embarrassed by that. Why? It was a penalty. Like,
I think the only reason it was such a big deal is because the play that happened. I see down in the chat. The play was insane. So throw to Travis Kelce over the middle, who then laterals it back to Kadarius Toney, who takes it to the. I mean, if it was anything else, even if it was just 10-yard pass over the middle,
we would have forgotten about it.
We would have forgotten about it. It would have been like, oh, okay, another time that this. It was only because of the play in my mind that the overreaction happened. But anyway, see, I clearly had feelings about it. I'm glad I asked. But I got other news for us, Jake.
I hope you're going to bring up something. So, sorry.
Well, this is just injuries and stuff. What are you hoping
talk about Bill Belichick?
What about Bill Belichick?
The reports are that he is done at the end of the year.
Oh,
and I told you all.
Yeah,
I said it. God, I hope he goes to the Chargers.
To the Chargers. Let's start with.
Go ahead.
What?
Yeah.
I was gonna say let's start with the Chargers for our news here today, because as someone who 2 of the leagues that I'm in the playoffs, I have Justin Herbert. He's done for the year.
Bummer.
Perfect timing. So done for the rest of the year, having surgery on a fractured finger. Easton Stick coming in, going to be the Chargers quarterback for the rest of the way. Super yikes, just for, obviously, Justin Herbert, if you had him. Keenan Allen is probably taking you to the playoffs. That hurts him. Austin Eckler, also another one who's probably on a lot of playoff rosters. So just stings all around there for our boy.
It's something like 25% of starting quarterbacks from week 1 are no longer playing. And it sucks, especially because it's like, it's playoff time. Let's be excited, right? For like fantasy. Yep. And the first fantasy game is tonight. It starts in a half hour right now from when we're starting. And it is Aiden O'Connell versus Easton Stick.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I'm more excited about Aiden O'Connell than I was about Jimmy G. So
That's
that's
okay. All right.
All right. Anyway, speaking of other quarterbacks who are not in, Nick Mullins getting a start Week 15 for the Vikings versus Cincinnati. Josh Dobbs demoted to emergency quarterback.
Man,
They took him clean out. Yep.
Just a whirlwind.
So that's now the fourth starting QB for the Vikings this year, if you're keeping track. They're still a viable playoff team, though. Love that. Justin Jefferson questionable. Alex Madison's ruled out. Stay away from the Vikings this week. I know people want to. I have Jordan Addison, and I'm just like, no, don't do it. More quarterbacks. CJ Stroud in concussion protocol might not play. They said he didn't clear it today, so he probably won't play this weekend. Super yikes. Nico Collins, no Tank Dell. Dalton Schultz is kind of hurt. Just total collapse just in time for playoffs for the Houston Texans. And this is why those first round buys in our fantasy playoffs are so important, because you could weather a storm like that.
Yep.
I don't know if you can if you're playing a matchup this week. Some other things going on. Tyreek Hill and his ankle injury. I don't know if you watched the game last Monday when he I thought he was done. I was like, oh my gosh. He was writhing in pain on the ground and then popped up and left and then came back out. But he's still considered day to day. He hasn't practiced all week, so that's not a good sign.
Don't love that.
Him going into this week.
Don't love that.
Jake, have you watched the in-season Hard Knocks at all?
I have not. No.
It's fun. I recommend it. And listen,
I want to watch it. I just, time.
I was kind of like, oh, Tyreek Hill, But I like him. I'm having fun watching it, and just Mike McDaniels too is a real character. But Tyreek Hill, I want him to go over 2,000 yards. I just don't think he will after kind of a slow week last week.
Which is a shame because it'll be hard to do next year. Let me interrupt you. First of all, bunch of guys in the chat now just saying hello. Steven, Joey, Don. Steven says he secured the number 1 seed in 4 leagues this year. Nice.
All right.
And then Joey said he's got an interesting one. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you finish that before I get it down this rabbit hole. So 1 second.
Okay. I just have a couple more news items that are definitely worth calling out. Josh Jacobs is out tonight with a quad injury. So Thursday night he's out. Yep, is going to start. Worth considering for starts. We'll get to that a little more later. A.J. Dillon confirms he broke his thumb on Monday's game. So that's a bummer. So unsure what he's going to do. He's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to do surgery. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick it out. So keep an eye on that. It would be, J.J. Taylor would be there?
Yeah.
What? Their third string there.
Who?
Huh?
The Packers?
Yeah, who's their third string
Taylor.
Patrick Taylor. Sorry, mixing up my Taylors
not New England Patriot legend J.J. Taylor.
Patrick Taylor. Jonathan Taylor. Oh, I was looking at my notes.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Jonathan Taylor out for Week 15, so more Zach Moss. Love that. And Geno Smith probably going to be back this week.
Excellent.
So no Drew Lock. Anyway, now get to your things.
All right, first question. Joey in the chat. Again, we're live on YouTube, youtube.com/Next Fantasy Football Podcast. Typically Wednesdays. Today's Thursday. But you'll know that if you follow us on Facebook as well. He said, quick, Justin Fields went down last week, had to scramble for a quarterback. Who would you start, Easton Stick or Bailey Zappi? It's tough in the waiver wire. He said, my opponent wiped the waivers by picking up Mullins and Trubisky in an attempt to block me out. So, this is a loaded question. For example, I'm going to use you, Jordan, in our home league. So, Jordan has Justin Herbert. Here, let me pull up your team here.
Yeah.
So, he's got Justin Herbert. He's in the playoffs. Just secured the 3 seed, right, my man? Right?
Yep.
The 3 seed. You're going ahead and you picked up Joe Flacco, right? To start.
Yeah.
It's rough out there, right?
Yeah.
He's going up against a guy who has Josh Dobbs. Would you dump a guy, for example, Jordan, because I'm assuming the guy's not listening right now, would you dump Jerick McKinnon off your roster right now and pick up Nick Mullins just so that your opponent can't?
Yes.
So that's an interesting concept. Is it a jerk thing to do?
Yes.
Yes. Are you trying to win? Yes. So that is a thing. If you have a guy, we're in the playoffs now. It doesn't matter if you have a 6th receiver that you're hoping could help later on. We're already there. Get rid of him. You have Josh Dobbs who's no longer playing. Go pick up Mullins so your opponent can't have him. Your guy has Pickett, and you can pick up Trubisky so your guy doesn't have him. Take him, right? To answer your question, I'm gonna go Bailey Zappi. Looked good last week. But yeah, I think of those two, I would take them. But I mean, this is a thing you should do. Yeah, your opponent might be mad, but I'm sorry, it's Thursday. If your opponent has yet to set his lineup and hasn't figured out what he's doing yet, go pick up the backup. Go pick up. You need to make sure that your opponent has the worst roster possible. So, Joey says, it's not a jerk move, just strategy, and I approve of that kind of Bush League antics. See, that's what I'm saying, though. Your opponent might be mad, but it's not their fault. Or it's not your fault. It doesn't matter. You're trying to win. So
I did that pretty early on in the season when I picked up Zach Wilson after Aaron Rodgers got hurt and Jake was pretty ticked.
I was ticked because I was like, you have no reason for this.
No reason to. Yeah, I had Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. Didn't need to, but I did it anyway. But now I'm in a tough spot, so I would agree with you. I think Bailey Zappi is just proven. You know what you're getting. You can plan for it. You know, he had a good week last week, Bailey Zappi did, but you know you're in that 10, 15-point range with Bailey Zappi. You have no idea what you're getting with Easton Stick. So
agreed.
That's why I think Bailey Zappi too. I don't love saying that, but desperate times, you know.
Agreed.
Get Joe Flacco, though, if he's there.
Oh, yeah, Joe Flacco.
That's the preferred. Yeah, that's the preferred.
Joe Flacco? You starting him over Mahomes?
Huh? No. But he's getting a start this week over Gardner Minshew, actually, is who I have.
I shared something on our Facebook page, facebook.com, Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast, which is a fun fact for you that Sam Howell has more fantasy points than Patrick Mahomes this year. How bonkers is that?
Sam Howell, you were sleeping on Sam Howell. I hyped up Sam Howell in the offseason. They're always playing from behind. They are just always behind. So he's not good, but he's a good fantasy.
That's all you want.
I think he's top 5.
All right, I got another one for you, Jordan. This guy has Mahomes and Stroud.
He's 7, by the way. Sorry, continue.
Okay, Stroud is out, right?
Yep.
He picked up Stafford on the waiver wire. He's planning to start Stafford. Are we really at a point where we have to question starting Mahomes? So I assume he means he's starting Stafford over Mahomes.
No,
I'm not sure what the matchups are off the top of my head right here, but
I will tell you we have Chiefs at Patriots. So
that's a good defense,
and
though.
Rams at Commanders, which is not that good.
Man, I see what you're doing here, where you're like, ooh, I kind of wanna. It'd be a gamble. Let's just say that.
What happens if, though, you lose the game because Patrick Mahomes
just went
put up
bonkers,
great numbers, and you're like, I benched him in the
your friends will destroy you.
yeah. I mean, it's a risk. You could look like a legend, but
start Mahomes.
It also could be embarrassing.
Start Mahomes. You start Mahomes. Oh, geez. And then the people in the chat disagree. Stafford over Mahomes this week. Stafford faces Washington. They give up the booty to QBs and running backs. It's a smash play. Listen, I understand matchups. For me, I've always said, don't get cute and just start your studs. And Mahomes is due for one.
Okay, I don't know about that.
He is due for one.
Yeah, it's like playing the slots, you know. You're like, oh, it's due. You know, it's not how statistics work. But
John says, just pick up Money Mitch.
Money Mitch. But there are kind of tiers of players that we talk about, right? And there's ones that are every week starts, and Mahomes is still a top 10 quarterback. He is still a QB1 the whole year. Even it's a down year for him, and he's still QB7 or 8 during the year. He's QB8 on the year. Matt Stafford, let's just say, is not. He's QB17.
Well, he missed some games, too.
He missed some games, I get it, but, like, just in general, there's those guys that are in that top tier, and you got to start them every single week.
But I understand.
And there are other people that you play the matchups, and that's, you know, that there is a tier of player there that is worth starting, but you kind of consider them when you're playing matchups.
In fairness, in our personal rankings for this week, we have Mahomes at 5 and Stafford at 7. So it's closer than you think. But yeah, I still got to go Mahomes there. I just got to. Let's keep it going. Just going through our chat. If you're in our chat right now, make sure you drop your sit questions and we will keep them going. Jordan, why don't you tell the people about our Thursday night Top Gun as we are getting ready for kickoff here in the next 15 minutes?
Perfect. All right, our Thursday night Top Gun today. So it's remember Raiders and Chargers. So really, another one of those good Thursday night
Yeah,
Amazon Prime
woo.
matchups. We have Jacoby Myers. Reason for that, and also Zamir White had a
Yeah,
strong contender and a
I'm gonna
really
be
good.
honest.
That was almost
If we would have
last
made
minute change.
this the graphic earlier or later, I would say I would have voted White.
Yep.
So,
So Josh Jacobs out officially. He was questionable when we made this graphic. So I like them both. I think both of them are good. Zamir White, I think, also is an excellent start this week. But Devontae Adams is still questionable. Josh Jacobs is out. So I think Jacoby Myers is just going to skip more looks this week. So that's what we like about Jacoby Myers. And again, we're just looking for those
the
guys.
tier downs,
not your,
right?
Yep, not your guaranteed starts. You're starting Devontae Adams, right?
We're talking flex plays. This is
flex plays.
honestly, this is what these guys
Great way to
are, right? And
But weak Chargers defense.
Weak Chargers defense.
Yeah. Which is they have big names everywhere, but they're not very good. So Brandon Staley's going to lose his job.
yes, Andy should. And you know who should take it over?
Don't you dare say Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
Of course.
Just imagine it, though. Just imagine Bill Belichick leaving. If he wants to coach again, the question is, where would you go? Like, where would you go that would be enticing? You'd want to go somewhere with a quarterback. So where else would you be going? The Saints, if they get rid of that. But then you're like, you woohoo, Derek Carr.
Yeah, the Buccaneers, the Falcons.
Ooh,
anywhere
yeah,
in the NFC
woohoo,
South.
I got Baker. Woohoo, I got Howell. Why would you not be like, you know what? Though I will admit, the idea of Bill Belichick in LA is hilarious to me.
Oh, he's only wearing cutoff hoodies every single day. Every single day.
He's going to dress the exact same or in cargo shorts.
Cargo shorts. Classic Bill.
Classic
All
Bill.
right. Don is upset that I said Bill to Tampa. Sorry, Don.
All right.
He's just following Tom Brady. He's got to.
All right, let's hit you with more. Zamir White tonight or Amari Cooper?
Amari Cooper, I didn't include him in my news, but he is coming off kind of an injury.
Yep.
They're resting him a little bit, so I'm a little more nervous about Amari Cooper. I think Zamir White.
That's a tough one. So you have to start him tonight.
Yeah.
I think Zamir White gets 15 carries today.
Yeah.
Because the backup to him will be Amir Abdullah, who will probably take a little of the passing down. But, if you think, this Raiders team's going to get behind, right? Because that's just kind of what they've been doing, is getting behind. But they're going up against a team that is equally as bad.
And without their starting quarterback. So.
Yeah, exactly. In this scenario, Adrian O'Connell is the more veteran quarterback.
Sure is. You don't even know his name. It's Aiden O'Connell.
That's what I said.
He's so veteran, yeah.
He's
don't
so
even remember
veteran, yeah.
don't even know it.
So give me Jameer White. Get 15 carries. Book it.
Whoa, I'm not going to write that down.
Okay,
Yeah,
I wouldn't either.
That's low stakes.
All right,
Yep.
so in this league, it looks like they're starting two people. Stroud's out, though, so that's tough. He's starting Justin Fields. He's already decided that, apparently.
Okay.
But I'll just give it to you as all four quarterbacks you start two. Justin Fields, Tua, Mullins, or DeVito.
Justin Fields and Tua.
Yes, and that is so easy. Please don't overthink
Yeah.
that. You're not starting Nick Mullins, one, because it's his first
Don't get
start in
cute.
forever, and you're not starting Tommy DeVito because there's no way he's going to play like the way he did last week. And even last week, it wasn't this great game. It's just the Packers doing what the Packers do. So
I got to look up. Didn't Nick Mullins throw like
former 49er, I believe.
was it him or was it someone else that I'm thinking of that threw like 5 interceptions and a half before?
No, you're thinking of oh my gosh, he played for the Bills.
That's what I'm thinking. The guy on the Bills.
You're thinking of the Bills. They benched Tyrod Taylor for no reason for him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
chat, help
people
us
in the
out.
chat will help us. People in the chat will help us
It
out.
was just a disaster. It was probably a few years ago. Zach jumps in and says Gus Edwards or Keaton Mitchell. So which Raven running back do you want? Peterman. It was Nathan Peterman. That's who it
Nate
was.
Peterman. I forgot.
Out of Pittsburgh, I believe.
All right, who do we got? What was the?
Keaton
sorry.
Mitchell or Gus Edwards?
I'm just looking at last week because I can't remember who got more carries. Keaton Mitchell saw one more touch.
Here,
basically, 9
I
carries and a
want
reception.
Gus Edwards. They're gonna get equal carries, but Gus Edwards has the goal line, and that's what I want. So that's kind of what I would do there.
That's what you do. I mean, last 2 weeks though, Keaton Mitchell's had more More touches.
Gus Edwards, book it.
Zach, who are you playing this week? Is it me or is it Jake?
Yeah, I'm not playing because I'm terrible at the home league, if you recall.
Yeah. So, I think Zach actually has a bye in that league,
Yes,
so
he
it's not
does.
against us.
All right, let's keep it going. The Browns defense versus Chicago, or the Raiders defense against the Chargers. Raiders for me.
Raiders.
Okay, easy one. Should I start?
Wait, Browns against Chicago? Oh, yeah, you just stream that defense.
Yeah.
Either one's fine, but poor Chargers.
So this guy asked, should I start Devon Achane? Achane? How do you say it? Did we ever figure it out?
No.
It doesn't matter. Or Devontae Adams or Nico Collins.
Well, Nico Collins probably isn't going to play.
Well, that makes that easy.
And they are unsure. What was the other one? Sorry, I don't.
It was
and
Achane.
Achane too. They're not sure about. He has a toe injury that he's nursing. So the one for sure that you know is going to play is Devontae Adams.
It's just hard because you have Thursday, right?
Yeah, but I think you still got to do it. I think you got to play Devontae Adams in that case because you just don't know. It's unknown for the other two.
All right. Excuse me. Jordan, tell people about the Monday person.
All right, our Monday person. So just as a friendly reminder of who our Monday game is this week. Everything all right over there for you, Jake?
I have been sick the last 2 days. No work, no nothing. It's now my voice is just like gone, and I keep coughing.
It's a good radio voice.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I hated that. All right. Eagles at Seahawks is the Monday game. Mute yourself. I'll talk. All right. Eagles at Seahawks is a Monday night game. And our Monday miracle this week is DeAndre Swift. I think the Eagles are getting a bad rap. They are coming off like a 5-game stretch. It was like Dallas twice, Kansas City, Buffalo. Can't remember. Like 5 games of just like tough matchups. Their schedule lightens up a little bit. They're going against the Seahawks, which is kind of average from a defense perspective. DeAndre Swift is the number 1 back in that backfield. So I think we're seeing the offense as a whole bounce back for the Eagles, and especially DeAndre Swift this week.
Awesome. I agree. 100%. Love that.
Good. It was your take. I
know.
Just gave it for you.
So I'm just not going to say anything more.
So sick. Yeah.
To keep up with the wrestling thing, Jordan, did you see that Goldberg was at the Bucks-Falcons game? He looked so old.
What? What are we talking about? Why does this always happen? Who is that?
Joey says he's sticking with Easton Stick over Bailey Zappi, and I'm pretty sure he does that because our Patreon member, Joey here, always does the opposite of whatever I say. Don't do that if you're listening. But he, for some reason, loves to do it. So
he's a gambling man.
He's a gambling man. If you want to be a Patreon member, we have a Patreon. Information is on our Facebook, or you can message one of us on Facebook, and we can help you there. Don says in the chat, Bill would wear a cutoff sleeve hoodie with jean shorts and Crocs on the sideline.
Oh, yes, Belichick. Yeah, I love that.
Bill Belichick, yeah.
Uh-huh. Listen, if I was an NFL coach, though, I would do something like that to just,
absolutely. I would just do something bonkers.
But I think Crocs is the perfect balance.
I agree.
Like that's kind of like goofy enough, but like I think Crocs, like as a coach, would be hilarious. Love it.
Don asked, do you think DeAndre Swift is a Swiftie? Yes. Jordan.
Everyone is.
Jordan, this question. In my league, we start 4 wide receivers PPR. He has CeeDee, Ayuk, Devontae Smith going for sure. Okay? Do I start Devontae Adams tonight? Not sure how he's feeling with his illness. My backups are Chark, Downs, and Shaheed.
No, I think Devontae, I mean, we're a couple minutes out, right? But I think Devontae's playing. I think he's full send. They unless, I guess we've been recording here for 27 minutes, unless there's something new there.
No, I don't believe there is.
Confirm.
Next question I got is, need to start 2 PPR scoring. We got Eckler, Hall, James Cook, Ty Chandler, and Achane. What do you think? So I think we're starting Eckler. So going into when Justin Herbert went down last week, Eckler all of a sudden became the pass-catching guy we know and love. So I think over 5 catches is going to happen again today. So I love him there. And then for me, I'm going to go with... gross. I want to say Breece Hall just because he's the talented guy, right? I'm going to go Brees Hall, actually. I think that, he just gets the majority of those carries, and I like him over James Cook.
I disagree. James Cook has been balling. I like James Cook.
Okay. Well.
But, I understand Brees Hall. Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
AFC player. He was AFC player of the week last week.
Okay.
He showed up.
Yeah. I saw a
meme
where they were across a restaurant and then two guys just staring at each other with these blank looks after they winning those defensive or offensive player of the week. Don asks, as knowledgeable Packer fans, is Mike Evans a must start at the wide receiver position this week? The answer is yes.
Yeah. That has nothing to do with my Packer fandom.
No. I will say this. Listen, I mean, Keyshawn Nixon is the number one corner there right now without Jair Alexander. And if you want to hear a Packers hot take, I don't think Jair is actually as good as we thought he was, which is something. I know.
I can't even look at you. How dare you?
I know. But we can unpack that later.
How dare you? But yes, and I'm excited to go to that game at Lambeau and see Mike Evans go for 100 yards and then
100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Can't wait.
Yeah, just to rub it in my face about me saying he wasn't going to get 1,000 yards. So that's on me.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for our episode here. Jordan, in parting, I made a post on the Fantasy Football Discussions page on Facebook. You guys can see us all on there as well. Great Facebook group if you're not a part of it. They have 30,000 people get in there, ask questions. They're very helpful. And I made a post that now has over 230 comments. Uh-oh. And all it said was...
It was a hot take, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. I said, name a random NFL player most people haven't thought about in years. I'll start. And I started with Jarvis Green Ellis. So I'm just going to hit you guys listening. And I hope that... Because it originated because I saw a meme that said men can just get together and say random football player names and talk for hours.
Yeah.
So in closing,
you remember Bubba Franks?
Bubba Franks. In closing, I'm going to hit you with a few of them here. All right.
All right. Let's
Sam
do it.
Congato, Mike Allstott. I mean, he's a legend though. Some people threw down.
I never forgot about him.
Some people threw down some Brian Urlacher, and it's no, we remember them.
About him. Yeah.
John Beeson, the linebacker from Carolina. Jason Campbell, Peyton Hillis, Jamal Charles. I'm just scrolling here. Cameron Meredith. Remember him, the receiver? Brandon Lloyd, Antonio Chapman. So, just
Vinny Testaverde. That's a great one.
Oh my god! I'm just it's a fun thing. Go look for it on Facebook later on. Hakeem Nicks, Brandon Lloyd.
Wow. Just
these names that you have not thought about in forever. It's so much fun. I'm just scrolling through, and I don't want to keep scrolling, but now I'm just getting Lance Moore.
Dwayne Bowe,
Brandon LaFell, Devery Henderson, Marion Barber III. There's so many good ones. If you want, it's such a. I might share the post on our Facebook page just so you can go see it. It is just so much fun, and who doesn't like to just reminisce? Because that's all it is. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, guys. It is playoff time. We have to get those W's. So let's make sure we get there. I want to see you guys all next week after we've won and we're on our way to the conference championships. So, conference championships. Yeah. Conference.
What would that be? Well, I mean, there's not conferences.
You're right.
We call it the semifinals.
Semifinals in most leagues. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But we want to see Martine Dramatica. Love it. Jordan, you got anything else you want to say?
No. Go win. I want everyone championships unless you play against me. Then I hope you lose. All right.
All right, guys.